Shalom and welcome to 2 Minutes of Torah. This year is entitled Meir Kahane's position on They Must Go. Meir Kahane, we're having a series of shirim on him. He's a fascinating figure, and his spiritual legacy is part of it might actually get into the Knesset, so we're learning a little bit about him. Not an endorsement in any way. Not pro, not con, just giving over some of his ideas from philosophies and insights. So he had many books, Comfortable Questions for Comfortable Jews, really challenging the Jews in America and pointing out the inconsistencies in many of the Jews' observance there. He had plenty to say about conservative Judaism, Reform Judaism, Jewish leadership. One of his most controversial books is They Must Go. So the name is quite provocative, and most people know right away what he means, who's they, and where they should go. He's referring to the Arabs and saying they must go. So we have a big gap between Meir Kahane's written words and his spoken words. So they must go sounds like, oh, just kick up all the Arabs. And when you read the book, it actually says there's 3 different levels. There are those who want to live peacefully here in Israel, and that's fine. Will they have the full rights as the Jews do? No. This is our land, but he talks about the concept as a ger toshav, the concept of a person who accepts the Jewish leadership in Eretz Israel, accepts his position as a Gentile versus the Jews' position as Am Skula, where this is our country that Hashem has given us. And he says there's room for people like that in Israel. Then you have those who willingly will leave and will help them leave. And then you have those who are not accepting us as the sovereign leaders in Israel, but aren't leaving. And so then we're going to fight with them. And he says that. He based himself on the Rambam, Hilchot Melachim, and other places. That's what they must go. So the term and the name of the book is extreme. But when you look at the book, it's not. He quotes Rambam sources, but in his written, oral word, his interviews in the 70s, in the 80s, especially in the 80s, is they must go first to everyone. And he says that all of them, every Arab, a peaceful Arab, there's no such thing as a peaceful Arab. They all want us dead. They all want to get rid of us. And they don't want us to be here. And therefore, everyone has to be moved. That's, of course, a very extreme position. And during his interviews in the 80s, he would say that our Arabs or Jews did things to Arabs, they'd be freedom fighters and stuff like that. Where that, of course, is a very challenging position. Very challenging position. You go ahead and you have an Arab living in Abu Ghosh. Didn't do anything 10, 20, 30, 40 years. And someone does something to them. That's halachically, ethically, morally, spiritually. Where's the defense to go ahead and do something to those people? Because deep down, you're convinced that deep down they really hate us and want to do this, want to do that. So that's where, in the early years, you have the controversial activities of the JDL, 60s. In the 70s, he built himself up there. Then made Aliyah, and then built himself in Eretz Israel. And then everyone was interviewing him, both in Israel, both abroad. And that's when he's saying everyone must go. And any Jews that do anything to these, they're freedom fighters. And that's where the controversy really got very deep. And to very extreme camps regarding Meir Kahane. What is the official party today? So first has to look into it. I don't know the exact platform, but in terms of the spiritual leader of Meir Kahane, the term "they must go" is written word from 40, 50 years ago, and this oral word is not exactly the same, and needs to be looked into and analyzed from a Torah, halacha, and ethical standpoint. Shalom.